This is the final episode in the 4-part series, and once again I'm in Myford near Halifax, and there are some very nice things here, both inside and outside the workshop. Welcome to Myford Accessories, a comprehensive display of Myford parts. And to show these, I am in the shop, a place where you can buy all things Myford, starting with the Myford manuals on the left hand side. On the top row are the Myford nameplates. There are change wheels. I can see 3 travelling steadies for turning long pieces of metal, and an oil gun. I bought myself one of those a while ago when I was rebuilding my Myford ML7R. As it is quite difficult to take in the volume of parts that are available, I thought it would be a good idea to pan back the other way. I've moved the camera down slightly to show some of the other parts lower down on the shelves. There are tailstock die holders, chuck back plates, and even a really neat handle which fits in the spindle in the headstock, allowing you to rotate it manually. When I lower the camera further, you can see there are plenty of lathe tools for sale, as well as spare Myford tool holder fittings. And here is a Myford tool holder fitted to a tool post, which in turn is fitted to the compound slide ready for use. In this series of 4 videos that I've had the pleasure of making for Myford, you will have seen this 78175 quick change tool post before. But you haven't seen much of this. It's the Myford Oil Gun. And immediately after I refurbished my Myford ML7R, I bought one of these oil guns, more about that shortly. While on the subject of refurbishing Myford lathes, here are a selection of nameplates that are available, if you want to replace a damaged one on your lathe. These are not all the same. If you look carefully, you will see how different they are. I haven't shown every maker's plate that's available, there are some more. I'd like to move on now to lubrication. As it says on the container, this is Headstock Oil, and this is for lubricating the spindle. I would recommend not cutting corners in this department, use the proper stuff. This type of oil is not designed for the spindle bearings. As it clearly says on the front, it is Slideway Oil. And this is what you would use for lubricating most of the lathe parts. Back in my workshop, I would like to demonstrate. I'm going to fill the reservoir on the headstock with the headstock oil. And for this, I'm using a syringe. All I have to do is make sure this reservoir is full, with the correct type of lubricating oil. This lathe was in quite good condition for its age. I wanted to know how old it was, so I went onto the Myford website to use a very useful utility for finding out how old your lathe is. My lathe's serial number is KR135172, and by inputting this serial number into the search box on the website, it came up with this, which gives me an approximate age of the lathe. A while back I made a video about oil guns because I bought one that was diabolical. So bad in fact I threw it in the bin and bought this one, which is absolutely excellent. Normally I would use the same oil that I used to lubricate my steam engines. But when I was making these videos, I bought a bottle of each, and my Myford oil gun is currently full of Slideway oil. This Myford ML7R lathe is in very good condition. It's not worn in any specific areas, and I can wind it all the way down the bed. And the resistance on the handle is the same all the way down, which shows very little wear on the bed. And to keep it that way, I'm applying some oil to the front of the saddle, as well as all of the other oiling points on the entire machine. These are on the saddle, and here I'm applying some oil to the tailstock using the 3 lubrication points. From my workshop to the Myford workshop, and I'm going to show some of the selection of machine tools that are used in the Myford workshop for various small jobs. I showed this in a previous video. This is the workshop milling machine. This machine is called a surface grinder, and it's for grinding surfaces. This is an old Myford tool grinder, and it's currently not in service. But this one next to it is in service, and it's currently grinding the top of a cross slide. The chuck is magnetic. You just place the part on it, move the lever, and the machine does the rest. I didn't expect to see a Myford Super 7 in the workshop, but here is one that is in regular use. My lovely assistant Brett in the workshop explained that the small tool with the grinder fitted was for slightly enlarging some washers. I was quite impressed with this, and it gave me an idea. In my workshop I use Proxxon Micromot motor tools. and I had a couple of bench mount adapters, so I bought a third one and I made a simple modification so that it fitted onto my Myford ML7R lathe, and here's the modification, a very simple one. Sadly, the time finally came when I had to leave the Myford workshop. I'm going to finish this short series with a slideshow, featuring this most excellent collection of lathes. Before I go, I would just like to mention that I do not have any financial connection with Myford Limited. The making of this short video series was not a sponsorship deal, and all the parts that you see me using in my workshop were bought from Myford at full retail price. I prefer it that way because then I can be totally honest. So what do I think about Myford Lathes? I really don't need to answer that question. I've had my Myford ML7R for quite a while and I love it. Whilst making this video series, I did feel like a kid in a candy store. These machines are absolutely beautiful. They're also reassuringly expensive, which is a term that says it all. The Myford ML7R that I have has already outlived one owner, and he was 94, and I'm very sure that it is going to outlive me too. And that is it, video number 4 of 4. I've only got one more thing to say, which is thanks for watching, and why not treat yourself to a Myford lathe? And finally, to answer a few viewers' questions, Myford Limited can ship their products anywhere in the world.